Historically, the Silk Road served as the most important thoroughfare for the cultural exchange between the East and the West. Buddhism also spread along the Silk Road. Many Buddhist cave temples now still exist along the Silk Road. The stories of the first half of Shakyamuni's life are shown in this cave. Mogao grottos of Huang, facing the Chilean mountain, is one of the earliest cave temples constructed in China. A rich and full Buddha's life story painting is preserved in Cave 290. Cave 290 was built in the northern Zhou dynasty of the 6th century. The east-facing niche contains statue of Shakyamuni and his 2 disciples. The illustration of episodes from life of the historical Buddha Shakyamuni was painted on the gable ceiling. The illustration contained 87 scenes beginning with the conception of the Buddha and various experiences of delusions to his enlightenment. It is the most detailed amongst such paintings on Buddha's life in China. The Palace of Shakya clan in ancient India. The Queen Maya dreamed of the Bodhisattva riding a white elephant and entered into her womb. Then the queen was pregnant. At the end of the 10th month, the Prince Siddhartha, later known as Shakyamuni, was born from her right side. As soon as he was born, the prince walked 7 steps and announced, "In heaven above and earth beneath, I alone am the honored one." On hearing that Shakya clan had a newborn prince, a holy sage visited the palace to see the royal baby. Foreseeing with his supernormal vision the child's future greatness, the sage prophesied that the prince would eventually become a Buddha, an enlightened one. The young prince was versed in both literature and martial art and demonstrated extraordinary talents. He had never lost in the contest of wrestling. The young prince threw an elephant blocked the route outside the city gate with his one hand. However, the prince was always in low spirits and remained depressed. He often contemplated beside the farmer who were busy plowing. Later, the prince got married and had a son. Even after his marriage, the prince was still depressed. One day, the prince went out on excursions from the palace. He witnessed painful miseries of a human life: birth, old age, sickness, and death. The prince was moved by the impermanence of human life and sufferings. Finally, he encountered an wonder aesthetic, so he decided to leave his home and lead an aesthetic life. At night, the prince rode on a horse. In order not to wake the inhabitants in profound sleep, flying apsaras held the four hooves of the horse in their palms and leapt over the city. Finally, after overcoming all obstacles and austerity, Prince Siddhartha attained complete enlightenment or Buddhahood. The following day, Buddha delivered his first sermon to his 5 disciples and deer. Flying apsaras appeared in the sky, dancing and praising. The painting of Buddha's life story depicted that Shakyamuni delivered himself from all passions and delusions and attained enlightenment, finally become an example for monks meditating in Mogao grottos. Monks kept Buddha's life stories in their mind. This is the northern area of Mogao grottos. These caves are not decorated. They are the living quarters and meditation places for monks. Monks used to meditate in these caves while visualizing the paintings and Buddha statues kept in their minds. Cave 290, Mogao Grottos, Huang. The stories of the first half of Shakyamuni's life illustrate for monks the path of attaining enlightenment. The cave construction of Morgao grottos lasted over 1,000 years. This cave is the largest one 200 years later since the first cave was created in Morgao grottos. This cave has been devoted a great deal of enthusiasm by local rulers and a multitude of donors. You may feel gloomy and cold when entering this cave. This cave has no light and is enveloped in the darkness. Murals on the walls depict mainly the stories of boundless benevolence. What we see now is the full view of the cave, which normally not accessible. It is the cave 428, constructed in the 6th century of Northern Zhou dynasty. On the gable roof are painted in red ochre with rafters in imitation of wooden structure. Between the spaces rafter are depicted 119 lotus designs. Flying apsaras and various plants and animals are painted amidst the lotuses. The lotuses are all different in shape. So we can see the ingenuity of the artisan of Huang. The painting depicted on the north side of the entrance, more than 5 meters long, is the longest mural showing Jataka's story extant in China. Prince Sudana Jataka tells of a story of Shakyamuni's good deeds in his previous birth. Sudana is a prince of ancient India, and he was benevolent and generous. When the king of neighboring kingdom heard the prince's benevolent deeds, he sent 8 Brahmins who begged the prince. The kingdom of Prince Sudana had a white elephant, which was very strong. The country never lost a battle because of the elephant. As Brahmin wanted, the prince gifted away the white elephant to them. The king was furious on hearing this and exiled the prince, his wife, and 2 sons as punishment. On the way, the prince gave away all his property to the people. In order to test his benevolence, the prince experienced various hardships. Even someone came to ask for his children. The prince persisted in almsgiving, hoping to save the people from sufferings. Finally, the prince gave away his children. The naked children were tied with a rope and handed over to the Brahmin. When the wife returned, she found her 2 sons gone and cried bitterly, not wishing to live anymore. Indra was deeply moved by the prince's deeds and helped the children. The children were saved by Indra. The prince and his wife returned to their kingdom, and they lived happily ever since. What do the people then think of this benevolent prince? Some scholars believe that this cave was commissioned by Lord of Jianping, Yu Yi, who was the governor of Huang in the 6th century. Yu Yi was appointed the magistrate in many places, and he was highly respected and deeply loved by the people. The lower borders of the wall are surrounded by donor images. We can imagine that people in those days responded actively to involved when Yu Ji sponsored to build this cave. Some donors are lay Buddhists in nomadic garments called Hu Fu. Some are monks clad in kashaya or monks' patched robe. This cave contains 1,198 donors' portraits. It is the cave which has the most donor images in Mogao grottos. Cave 428 of Mogao grottos depicts a story about Shakyamuni Buddha's previous life. Meanwhile, it also reflects people's remembrance to Lord of Jianping, Yu Ji, who maintained the peace and stability of Huang. Liangzhou verses by Huang. Fine red wines glitter in a draped cup that glows in the night. Before I could drink it, came lyre notes, give orders to mow the horse. Historically, no end of camel caravans traveled to Dunhuang along the Silk Road. Many foreign merchandise were traded on the market, merchants packed up and ready to set off. We can see vivid depictions of actual life at the oasis on the wall paintings of Mogao grottos. Cave 296, built in the 6th